today's video, what I'm going to be sharing with you is how having a better client experience can actually help you work less. So if you're ready to say goodbye to all of those long hours spent trying to communicate with your clients, manage your client data, get all the things you need from your clients, and you're done with that work, then you want to watch the rest of this video. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, I'm Jamie Gruhl, and after helping over 500 tax and accounting practices implement automation with TaxDome, I can confidently say that automation is the only way to increase your profit and time freedom in your practice. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you several of the features that I love the most when it comes to a client experience. Now, I can say this from my own experience in having worked with a tax professional who did not have a client portal. They were working with me through the old school way of email. We all know that this is not secure, but it has not improved the client experience. What a client experience is, it's in our methods and our values here at Workflows for Tax Pros is we want to give the client a guided experience that helps them to be successful at every step along the way. Now, you have to remember, as a professional, you deal with this stuff all day, every day. You have hundreds of clients, and those hundreds of clients need to get you all of their information. And if you're not thinking about your client experience from the client's perspective, the fact that they are not tax professionals, the fact that they aren't educated in how the tax system works or don't have the deadlines right at their top of mind, you need to be thinking about how can I make this easiest for them to get what I need. And that's going to come through a client experience that is driven by automation. Now, why automation? Because if you're trying to do this manually, you are not going to do it. That's why you're where you're at right now, possibly if you aren't using an automated practice management tool, or if your practice management system that you're using doesn't include client communications. We have a lot of people say, I have ClickUp or Asana, and it's totally working for me to keep my clients in order. Yes, but my question is, how are you getting communications out to your clients? Another one is, I have a client portal, it's secure. Yes, but how are you communicating with your clients? Oftentimes, this is resulting in you sending too few communications. And you're thinking, I don't want to burden my clients. You're not burdening your clients if you're instructing your clients every step along the way how to actually get you what you need. They want to be successful in this as well. And if you're worried about burdening them by asking them for what you need, you're going to spend your time having to follow up with them and having to communicate with them manually and by pulling things from them rather than them proactively delivering them to you. And so what I want to do today is I want to take you into the TaxDome client portal view, and I'm going to share with you a few of the features there that TaxDome has implemented that we believe are the game changers in this industry and why TaxDome is becoming the most popular tool out there. So the first one I want to share with you is the ability to have everything in one place. So if you have been building your practice and your practice contains a lot of manual stuff, so it could be that your clients are having to they're sending you things via email, or they're faxing things to you, or they're dropping off paper documents because you don't have a centralized client portal, that is a number one sign that you definitely need a tool like TaxDome. So what all-in-one portal does is it allows your clients to not only deliver you documentation, but we can actually send out organizers, which are not your old school organizer. These are actually forms that are customized using automation to deliver the client exactly the form that they need based on their tax year, based on their life events, based on their business structure. All of this is done with using one template for you, but it customizes specific to the client. And so we can actually gather the information that we need to prepare a full return without having to do a lot of back and forth. You can think about it like an asynchronous interview, if you will. This allows us to gather what we need to prepare a return for our client without having to do a lot of back and forth, a lot of communications that are trying to fill the gaps of things that we didn't get. And so by using organizers and gathering that information, it just makes everything so streamlined. What this all-in-one portal also allows us to do is invoice out of one place. It allows us to get signatures out of one place. We can send proposals out of this one place. So your client doesn't have to rely on the email notifications from your 6 different tools telling them what you need them to do. A lot of practices in the pandemic days, when they got forced out of being able to meet with their clients in person, implemented things like electronic signature or client portals, but they didn't do it in a holistic way. They just slapped a Band-Aid on it and got what they needed. And I totally don't blame time, you had to do what you had to do. But now you need to be thinking about how can I provide a better client experience? And having one tool where your client only has to learn how to use that one tool is the game changer for them, resulting in you having fewer inbound emails, inbound questions about where do I sign? How do I find my email? This tool isn't working, or I don't understand how this tool works. Instead, it's all right here in one place, meaning that your clients will get familiar with it after year one, and then they will have fewer and fewer questions as the years go on. Now, the next thing I wanted to share that's a favorite feature of mine in TaxDome in the portal is the ability to have what we call client-facing statuses. Now, this is a new feature that TaxDome just recently released. You can think of it like the Domino's pizza tracker, right? So all along the way, we're able to, in our automated workflow, tell the system that my client, I'm waiting on their documents to deliver. And then once they deliver my documents and I have all of my missing documents, I then move them into my tax preparation section. So you can see I am now in that in progress, meaning that for me, my client's return is now in progress. And this is all customizable to the needs of your practice and of your workflow. I think one thing that a lot of people have as a misunderstanding about what TaxDome can do is it's not just for tax. It does tax preparation, it does tax planning, it does tax notices, it does bookkeeping, it does payroll, it does advisory services, it'll do your new lead management. It can help you automate any and every workflow in your practice that has a beginning and an end and the steps in between. Any of those can be automated using TaxDome, meaning that you're going to be able to fully automate your practice that is going to bring greater and greater efficiency for you, but also for your clients. So if you're working on a client with their tax preparation, but you also are working with a client on, say, tax planning or on representation work, you could actually have multiple statuses showing here on the top of the screen to allow the client to stay informed about where they're at. What does this do for you? This reduces the need for the client to call you or ping you or email you and say, hey, where are you at with my return? They can log in here and they're able to see the status here. Now, the other cool thing that I will add is we can actually customize this status to say something specific to this client. So here I am in the firm view of TaxDome. Now, this is the side that you and your team would see in your TaxDome system. I am currently in a tax preparation pipeline, and a pipeline is an automated workflow. TaxDome calls them pipelines, meaning that it's a breakdown of the steps that you would take a client through from the beginning of your tax preparation process, point A, to the end of your tax preparation process, point Z, and every step in between. Now, there's not 26 steps, but there are a lot of steps in tax preparation specifically because there's a lot of things we need to get from our clients, a lot of things we need to do to make sure that we're staying on track for completion of the return in a thorough and complete way. So what I wanted to point out is that if I scroll over here, I have my onboarding in the first section. I'm going to manage my missing documents with my client, and then I'm going to move into my preparing of the return. Now, the preparing of the return is where my client is going to have their job is now, this is a job, has now entered the state where I'm actually taking the information we've gotten and preparing that return for review. But what if I'm in the middle of that process and I identify I have missing documents? With TaxDome, the cool thing about this client-facing status is that I could actually change this status, and it not only informs our client that we have a new status that they need to be aware of, but it also informs my team internally that this client, while in progress, has been identified as missing documents. And that is a huge game changer for internal communications and even for your own brain if you're a solo practitioner trying to keep track of where all your clients are at. So what I can do is I can just change the status and look for my missing documents status. And I can then communicate with my client to a chat directly to their secure portal. Or if I wanted to, I could even add the more details here and customize this specifically for this client. We have identified missing information. Please see our chat for details. And we don't have a lot of text here. We have 150 characters, so we can't have too much detail, but we definitely want to call this out for our client that we want them to go and look at the chat. So once I have saved this, I'm going to go ahead and save. When I go back over to my client view, what I'm going to see when I refresh here is the status is actually going to change. So next time they log in, they're going to see my note about missing documents or information. And that would then direct them over to my chats and tasks. And so what the client is actually going to see is they're also going to get a notification that they have a new chat. So here is my chat that it says, hey, we're almost done. I just need some additional documentation. I got to use a template out of TaxDome to make this super easy to add. I dropped in the template message. I added their tasks of what I'm waiting for them to deliver. deliver to me, it would inform them that we need to take action. Now, the other thing this status does is it just keeps it front of mind for your clients. So when they log in, again, they're not reaching out to you saying, what's the status of my stuff, when here we have missing documents, and they can see that front and center. Now, the other cool thing that I love about TaxDome is that we can actually automate communications to our clients or build in instructions throughout our process, what we call breadcrumb the client to success. We want to help you help your clients find their way to success. And so when we breadcrumb them with little bits of information, rather than front loading everything at the beginning of tax season, they're going to be much more likely to be successful at getting you what you need. So what we have done is we have in our workflows, our pipelines here, we actually have instructional chats built into some of the steps to help them know what we need from them. Now, an example of what it would look like for your client to receive one of these notifications is something around the sending of the tax organizer. So as I mentioned, TaxDome tax organizers are not your standard organizer, and this could leave questions for your client. So what I would do is I would have an automated instructional chat that would go out to my client saying, hey, I also have this important information for you to be aware of around the completion of the organizer. Now, what this does is it reduces the amount of questions that come in, because if your clients can become trained that you are going to send them instructions for each step of the process, they know that they can go and find those instructions and not have to call you or email you to get them. So what we have is we create an automated template that gets sent in the TaxDome pipeline that contains the information that allows them to take action. Now, if they have further questions or there's something specific to their scenario, they can absolutely go ahead and reply to this chat, start the conversation with us, get the answers they need. Maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10, you're going to find that your clients are actually able to self-serve through the instructions that we're sending them. Now, in our Workflows for Tax Pros program, we have our signature pipelines that have all of this baked in. The benefit of using a proven method like our Workflows for Tax Pros pipelines is that you don't have to figure this all out on your own. Setting up workflows is no joke. You have to think about, what is the process I use? How can I standardize it? How can I leverage the automation? And finally, how do I make this a really great client experience? If you don't want to have to figure all of that out on your own, then you definitely want to consider joining us in Workflows for Tax Pros. We are now enrolling. You can find the information below this video. We look forward to seeing you on our next video, and we're so grateful to have you here.